Hi there, Christine Glover here. It's been a while since we last chatted because we've been so busy at the Glover house. So this month, I'm covering both September and October's reading/writing wrap-up because we have a lot of books read and we have a lot of writing done. So I'm super excited to share with you the new author I found, as well as an old author that I've been reading for quite a while, as well as my new writing projects. So first up, we're going to talk about what I've been reading. And basically, it's been pretty much everything that Lisa Kleypas has out for now. I just wrapped up a really nice series. It's called with the Travis brothers. And they are 4 books written in a very long first-person saga kind of a way. Beautifully written stories. The first story is called Sugar Daddy. That's followed, and I have a fly in the house. Ugh. It's Sugar Daddy. All right, so we took a little bit of a pause to chase after the stupid fly, but we can't catch it. So I got this, and we're just gonna continue videotaping, and I'm gonna kill it as soon as I can. I am not averse to killing flies. We have a bunch of them here. I think it's because there's a bunch of dogs living around me, and there's caca everywhere. Anyhow, the 4 books that I read in the series are Sugar Daddy, Smooth Talking Stranger, Blue-Eyed Devil, and Brown-Eyed Girl. All 4 books have, again, Lisa Kleypas' haunting writing voice. They all cover very intense and deep subjects like growing up poor in Texas. It's set in the Texas Panhandle, Houston area. It talks about single motherhood. There's a lot of tragedies. There's an abusive marriage in one of the books, but all of it works out well because the characters are so well drawn and you just get sucked into the vortex of this family and you really want to read more and more and more. So I highly recommend the Travis series with these 4 books. I will drop the link to Lisa Kleypas's. I hope I get her name right at some point. Maybe I'll have to meet Lisa again one day so she can say it to me. If you're out there, Lisa. Anyhow, I really enjoyed the books and they were a nice change of pace. Plus I wrote a book set in the Austin, Houston area, so it kind of just really informed my writing a little bit more too, which is always fun. I really recommend the series. The next round of books that I read were kind of a mixture. Finished this one up, An Interior Life. I don't know if you can see it. This book I've had since forever. It's by Catherine Blake. It is literally falling apart. Like, I found it in a used bookstore, and you can just see the pages are just brown and yellow and falling apart. For some reason, this little book, and it's, I believe, the only book that she's written, I've looked. For some reason, this little book speaks to me in a weird way. I love reading the present day 70s kind of 80s kind of stuff with the mystical element of a magical realm, like not magical, but like another realm that the main character goes traveling in and out of, and you get to weave into like a medieval kind of a world with a lot of strife, and they're trying to battle a dark lord. I am terrible with names. Remember that whenever I talk about books I read. At any rate, I really love the story and I read it every year, and for some reason it just speaks to me. It makes me kind of more motivated as a writer. I don't know what it is, but there's just something magical in this book. So I finished that book up and I really enjoyed reading it. I finished it up during a nice little vacation the physicist and I went on October 22nd through 26th. Probably the last little getaway we'll have, the only getaway we'll have until the new year because of the COVID getting really yucky, but we were super safe and we really liked Carter Creek Vineyards. They were amazing. They were super COVID smart, super safe. I loved the chef. I loved the staff. So if you're ever in the Texas Hill Country area and you're looking for a nice place to stay where you're going to feel safe, then check out Carter Creek Resort and Spa and the winery. We really enjoyed it there. And I got a lot of reading done and just a lot of chilling out done. And it was really fun, nice get away from everyday life. We both needed it, and I think our daughter, the career girl, needed us to be away from the house for a while. She had it to herself, and when she could work from home, and she made a videotape of her Halloween spooky open mic, virtual open mic, which was excellent. I wish I could share it with you. It was so good. At any rate, I really had a great vacation. So it was nice to finish up that book there and feel refreshed when I came home to start more reading and more writing and working on my writing projects. And also I am finally going to tackle the whole I suck at marketing thing. I'm taking an Amazon ads course right now, so that's really helping me. I really like Brian Cohen. I like the way he creates a community that's positive and supportive. So if you are an author looking for ways to create Amazon ads, I highly recommend Brian Cohen's Amazon ad school. And I think he's going to have another challenge. I did a 5-day free challenge, but I just went ahead and signed up for it because I just learned so much, and I'm hoping it will help with my next releases as well as the releases I already have out there. I've seen some good traction there. So it was a really good getaway sort of slash, got some work done, got some other things done, but overall loved the vacation. So when I got back from vacation, I got hooked into a series, the Bromance Book Club, which is just very clever. It's by Lisa K. Adams. The first book in the series is called The Bromance Book Club, and it follows a baseball champion and his wife who is wanting to have a divorce. They have twins, and he travels a lot, and he has a long way to go to restore his relationship with this woman that he truly loves. It's really a fun story to read. It has some ethos in it, like some deeper moments, but it's actually quite lighthearted, and it's a really nice escape from reality. And who doesn't need an escape from reality? So I totally recommend her series. I'm on book number 3, so I've read, the first book was The Bromance Book Club. I'm going to pull it up for you. So I'll put the link to her website, lisakadams.com, into my description along with Lisa Kleypas. Maybe I've got a thing for authors named Lisa. I don't know. I like the name. At any rate, they're fun books. I read the second book was followed the sister of the first heroine, Liv. She had a great fun story too. That was called Undercover Romance, and it sort of follows a suspenseful storyline. And the third book is called, and I'm reading it right now, so bear with me. I'm gonna finish it up probably this weekend or this week. The third book is called Crazy Stupid Romance. So the covers are really fun. The stories are fun too. I really have enjoyed following the different characters through their foibles. And what it is it's a male, macho man kind of a book club headed by this guy named Matt. And they have to read romances to learn how to understand to be with the women that they want to be with. So Gavin's story is really great because it shows him really reading a historical romance and incorporating the elements of this historical romance into wooing his wife back into his life again. It's very well done. The second book is like a romantic suspense book, following Mac and Liv's story, and that is also just really well done. And now the third book is a friends to lovers romance, and so the main character is reading a friends to lovers romance to get closer to his friend Alexis, who is a wonderfully well-drawn character. And they're a neat couple. He's a hacker and she's a pastry chef and runs a little pastry shop in Nashville. All the stories are also set in Nashville, one of my favorite cities. I have friends there. I've loved visiting there. I've loved everything about that city. I can't wait to be able to go back there again and see the sights, and also my friends who have been my lifelong friends for 35 years, going on 100 years now. At any rate, it's a really neat location. It's just a nice setting. The stories are fun and quick to read, and it's just a catchy series. So I highly recommend them. Then the third book I read and completed was by Beverly Jenkins. Love this author on so many levels. For me personally, not having grown up in the United States of America, I got all my American history from classes in Canada. I did go to university here as an adult, older, and I picked up American history in university, the required course, but I didn't really go too deep into it. So it's really fun to read a well-crafted, beautifully written historical romance set in post Civil War Reconstruction times, where you get to really know three-dimensional, beautiful characters and see that they're not only struggling to be with each other and to find a way to accept and love each other unconditionally and have that happily ever after that they deserve, but they're also battling extreme problems like racism, like suppression, like all of the terrible things that have happened since after the Civil War and even before. So it's an education for me. I have so much more understanding of the history of this country based on Beverly Jenkins' awesomely crafted books. And now, it's not a history lesson in the writing, but when you see these characters in that backdrop, it just makes it so much more real. And I love just about everything that she's written. I think everything that I've been able to read of hers, I've absolutely adored. This particular book was called Rebel. Is the cover. That's Valinda and Drake Levesque. And it is an amazing story set in New Orleans, a wonderful city at the post-Reconstruction times. I truly adored reading it. I'm going to pick up the second book in this series, but I'm going to wrap up the Bromance Book Club book that I have first. Kind of going from a little bit heavier material to lighter material. That's kind of how I'm rolling right now. I need escapes. I just want to escape reality and read really good books. And I hope I'm writing some good books too. So I really recommend this particular series. I recommend anything that Beverly Jenkins has written. I will drop a link to her website in my description for you so you can find her books. She's amazing. So that pretty much wraps up all of my reading for September and October, which has been quite voracious. Starting this month in November, I'm again, finishing up the Bromance Book Club. Whenever the fourth book comes out, I am so on it. I am also going to pick up the next book in the Women Who Dare series from Beverly Jenkins. And I've got a few romantic suspenses queued up, some by Lynn Ray Harris, some by Susan Stoker, just to kind of feed my brain with good stuff so that I can immerse myself in romantic suspense, which is what I'm writing right now along with contemporary romances. So that's pretty much it for this last 2 months, and hopefully you won't get a November-December wrap up in January. I will be back on top of it again now that I've caught up on everything. Speaking of catching up on everything, let's talk about my writing world since we last were together. So my writing world has been pretty much wrapped up in creating crush books. One is a crush book called Tempted by Her Rescuer. It's actually a crossover book to the Brotherhood Protectors series that I'm a part of that world with L. James. I'm really enjoying the story. I've loved the main character, Reagan. Reagan is Colton Sutler's sister, younger sister, and you meet her in the first book in my Crush series, Covert Rescuers Undercover Shield, in Covert Seduction. In that story, he's trying to avenge his best friend's and her husband's death due to a betrayal within a deep cover DEA operation that he was involved in that led to his brother-in-law's death. And she is a compelling character. She's a restaurateur. She now has her own cooking show called Cookin' Time, and it's set in the holiday season of Christmas and New Year's in Montana at Eagle Point, and it's a really fun cooking slash holiday slash suspense book, and I've had a lot of fun writing it. So that's going to release first week of December, either the 1st or the 2nd. I have to look at my calendar. So that's Tempted by Her Rescuer, and that's a new series that I'm going to start within the Brotherhood Protectors world. And it links also, of course, to my crush world. So I'm really fortunate to write for Elle James's world. She's one of the most generous people I know in the industry. She's super positive and always takes really good attitude toward life. And I love being part of her world too, like as a human being, not just as an author. So if you get a chance to read any of her books, I highly recommend them. I will put a link for her world and her website in the description as well. So on top of all of that, so the third book in my new series, Covert Rescuers Undercover Shield, Dangerous Temptation, is with another editor, getting another pass. I'm gonna wrap that up and put it up for pre-order. I'm not quite sure when to upload it, well, I know when to upload it, I just don't know what month to put it up for pre-order. I had hoped to have it done and ready to roll by November. It just didn't happen. It needed some work. This is all new to me, and I had a lot of moving parts, and there's always some element that needs to get shored up. And in this case, it was the heroine, who is a concept artist for a gaming company called Blitz Games. And she does concept art for the champions for their, sort of like the League of Legends, but it's their game is a different game. It's called Alliance of Realms, and she's one of the people that does the 3D renditions of the different champions for the games, and they're getting ready to do a huge release at the end of October. And in the meantime, there's all kinds of suspense floating around her. And my hero, Spencer, you meet him in the first book. He is part of Crush. He is there undercover to search out a corporate espionage / we've got a terrorist group infiltrating the game. And it's a lot of fun and a lot of work. So I'm hoping that the book flies. I wanted to do something different, and I also didn't want to do like a typical, stereotypical type of gamer girl. I wanted to show that gamers come in all shapes and sizes. And so basically, I wanted to create a person who was not the stereotype, based on communicating with my daughter a lot about it. The career girl is a gamer, an online gamer. Many of her friends are online gamers, and they don't fit the mold. They're just like you and me. There's all different ages and stages and ways of living and how they make their money, etc., etc. And they are vested in these worlds. And so it was really fun to kind of consult with her about this character. She's also drawn largely based on my experience. Here comes that fly again. I want it to land somewhere so I could kill it. I want to kill this fly. Okay, so basically that's the other book that I was working on, and it should be ready. I'm waiting to get back from my editor. By the time you see this video, because of course I'm recording and then I'm gonna, schedule it for later, you will probably see it up for pre-order maybe December or the beginning of January, somewhere in the mid-January. So that one's coming up. And then I also began brainstorming the fourth book in the series, Dangerous Desire, which runs concurrently a little bit with Dangerous Temptation and follows this kid that grew up in the foster care system in California, and how she's always been looking for normalcy, but the person that she thought was her nice fiance, normal and all that, isn't. And she gets into a whole heap of trouble and needs help. And my hero is Cooper Barrett. He is going in to extract her from a dangerous situation and keep her under his protection until they can get her to testify against these terrorists and stuff. So I haven't written it yet, but I do have an epilogue, yay me, and I also have my beat sheet kind of sort of worked out, and I have back cover copy, the blurb that you see on the description. I've been working on that diligently, and hopefully everything will come together. I'm waiting on the cover. This past month in October, I put together a box set called Falling For You, a steamy emotional box set. It contains 3 of my favorite longer novellas. One is called Reforming the Heartbreaker, which is something that I wrote several years ago as part of an anthology group, and I loved the characters, Ryder and Addison. So they are kind of a lead into my series, my Hollywood Heartbreaker series, because Ryder's sister ends up being in the 3rd book, Resisting the Heartbreaker, which follows Samantha and her Hollywood director / mogul, who is trying to uncover a secret, a big secret, Trevor Maguire. So the first book in the series is actually free. I'm gonna put the link in here for you. So if you wanna grab the first book in the series, Tempting the Heartbreaker, I'll put that in, as well as Falling For You, because then you get 3 books. The second book is Red Hot Fling, which is the lead into my Red Hot Heroes series, and that follows with Red Hot Reunion and Red Hot Proposal. I'm really excited about that book being in there. And then the other book is Wrong Prince, Right Lover. It's a standalone. Love the story. I kind of had planned on doing maybe some more books in that magical, like not a magical kingdom, but a fantasy fake kingdom that I had set up. But life kind of drew me in another direction. Doesn't mean I won't go there eventually, but right now I'm focused on Crush. I want to get at least 6 books in the series done, and then I'll know whether or not I need to move forward with it. I kind of want to, just because I enjoy it, but I'll know how many to write a year based on how things go. And I still want to write contemporary romances, and I have a women's fiction that I want to write, which we'll talk about later. So that pretty much wraps up September. Oh no, we did September. September and October, they were busy months. Moving into November, starting Monday, I'm going to be working on Dangerous Desire, the first draft. Yay me, I love writing lots of ampersand, insert this there. That's how I roll. I get to the end really super fast. Hopefully I'll get it done before Thanksgiving. So pray for me. I'd like to get it done before Thanksgiving, but we'll see. If not, maybe by the beginning of December. Then I can send it off to my critique partners and my editing people and let them take a hack at it over the holidays, and then I can get it finished and wrapped up in the new year and hopefully be able to release it somewhere in February or March. So excited about that story. And I'm revising a book that I wrote a while ago that was going to be part of a series called The Global Mavericks. And the first book in the series has characters in it that are revisited in the second book of my Crush series, because it's set in New York, and Nick and Maddie need their story to come out into the world. So I'm going to revise that based on the notes I got from critique partners about 3-4 years ago, and I'm going to freshen it up a little bit, and hopefully it will be better and I can send that out in the world, and then I'll work on the other 2 books in between my suspense books. So I have a lot of things going on that are keeping me busy and active, and I hope that, you know, I can bring you more stories next year than I did this year. My goal is pretty basic. 5 a year is about all I can manage right now, and I think that's perfectly fine. I'm not a warehouse, I'm not a factory, I'm one person, and I do it, you know, I have to wait on other people who also have careers to pursue and their own writing and their own stuff to do. So we're all kind of in this together in the business, and we're just going to move forward and see how much we can get done on a day-to-day basis, and see what we can get out there to you, the readers, and to whoever is interested in learning more about the writing process. I'm always trying to update this whole YouTube thing. It's still very new to me, but I really appreciate you listening, and I really appreciate you viewing. If you liked the video, then give me a thumbs up, please. And if you want to subscribe to my video channel, please do. I don't do a whole lot of content. I was trying to do 4 a month, and that just wasn't happening. So I'm happy if I get 2 to 3 done a month, and I usually drop them on Wednesday mornings, so I'm fairly consistent with that, but it's still a big learning curve for me. So stick with me, and hopefully we will be on this long journey together, and you'll be able to learn more about my writing, more about my reading, and more about my life as a writer as we move forward into 2021. Thank you, and happy writing, happy reading.